Three more times again, I testify for you. I thought I like you, that I do it all, and I won't find you scared of me. What's up? As long as you joking now in for me, I ain't got some things to talk about. Talk about it. Yes. Just gonna stop and get a coffee. So you guys are gonna come in with me. Is this her? Hold on. No, SZA. SZA. All these new. Hey, Lanky, how you doing, girl? Lanky Tour in the house. How you doing, Lank? I was sending your order out, and I try to write a handwritten note. Oh shit, I forgot. I gotta go to the post office. Oh my god, I totally forgot. It was so funny because I usually write everybody's like name on there. Thank you for the order. Um, So I wrote yours and I wrote Lanky. I said, I just can't do it. I can't do her first name. I got to write Lanky. I'm sorry. I try to handwrite on all my orders because I feel like it just gives it a more personal touch than getting a generic thank you card. You know what I'm saying? Oh, don't worry about it, Lanky. Don't worry about it. The memberships. So good. So good in the hood. I'm going to run in 7-Eleven, so you guys are going to come with me. And then we're going to I forgot. I gotta go to the post office. Maybe I'll go to the post office after or later. I could go later. Okay. I have the package in my car. Totally forgot I had that. I just actually took a ride to this masonry place that I found by accident online the other day that they had like cement color. So they didn't have in the picture online, they had like every color you could think of. When I get there, they have like 5 colors left and these like old ass dusty boxes. So I pretty much had most of the colors that they had left. So I just bought a green because I don't have a green color. So I was like, that'll be interesting. So people were asking in my comments the other day, thanks, thank you, about colors. All right, hold on. I'm getting a coffee. Wow, this is a weird 7-Eleven. Hold on, hold on. Hold on. I'm loving on me. All right, hold on. Just getting a coffee. It's freezing out. You're loving on me, baby. I got that song stuck in my head. My son plays that song nonstop. Hold on, hold on. Never been in a 7-Eleven. We did it. I'll be back in a few. I have to get to work. I have to text you back, Parks. I totally forgot to text you last night, Don. Let's go. Let me go pay. We'll be out of here. Ooh, there's something in my shoe. This is a cool 7-Eleven. Wish I could show you guys. I can, but it's got like cement floors, concrete floors. Different. All right, and the coffee's in the front, which is weird. It's usually in the back. Good day. Hey, Muffin. People probably think I'm crazy right now. Who's Pugs? Who's Muffin Mouse? A lot of noise in here. I feel so bad for my husband. He texted me. He's like, I'm freezing right now. They don't have heat in the building that he's in yet. So, poor guy's freezing his butt off. I told him I bought him a heated vest. I bought him a heated vest, for Christmas last year. And I'm like, just wear it to work. I bought it for hockey, but I'm like, if you're freezing at work, just put it on. He's like, I don't want to ruin it. I'm like, well, I really think you should put it on. So, all right. there is some exciting news. Do you guys hear all the noise? It probably sounds like I'm like standing in the middle of Manhattan right now. I'm in a pretty busy area. Um, anyway, all right. So there was some pretty exciting news yesterday, and I didn't realize this until I got off of my live stream. But so regarding the Long Island serial killer case, um, somebody had written in my comments. I don't even remember who it was. I forget who it was, but it was pretty exciting for the sheer fact that they not only did they charge him with the last girl that was like remaining, the girl Maureen Brainerd Barnes. Okay, so she was the fourth, I believe she was the first girl to go missing, but she was also the last one to be charged with, obviously. So they had a press conference yesterday. Now his attorney did a press conference, and then the DA did a press conference. And let me tell you something, this guy's fucked because we didn't know this prior. Okay. Um, and his attorney's press conference was, this guy's gonna blow his whole, case, basically talking too much to the press. But he's trying to debate the mitochondrial DNA or the whatever, the DNA. And then he has arguments for everything, which is his job. He should have arguments for everything. He's like, one thing he did say, which I didn't know this, but he says that, he was never, so they went off of a description of Dave Schaller, who was Amberlynn Costello's friend, okay, that she lived with, her roommate. Her roommate. And Dave, you know, was the only person to give a description of the last John that she had met with, right? And he said he was an ogre, said he had a green truck, and that's really how they ended up identifying him, okay, and finding him, amongst other things. But the attorney was saying that they never did a lineup, which I find interesting because you would think, they would do that just to make sure before they arrest somebody. What is this guy? You know, is this the guy? So that was one thing that I learned yesterday that I didn't know prior, which I find interesting. The other thing was that, and this is really damning evidence, because while they had some pretty good evidence prior to this, I feel like they had a lot. Oh, thank you, Nana. Thank you. Appreciate that. They had a lot of evidence prior to this, but what they have now that's new, that we didn't know about, okay? Because they remember, everything we knew about was prior to them searching his house. So now that they have searched his house, they found computers, tablets, whatever other kind of electronic devices they had there. And one of the things that they discovered was, well, number one, he was basically trying to scrub his search history and everything. Like, he had actually gotten specific programs to scrub his history and all that, okay? But I don't know if they, and he didn't get too much into detail about this, the district attorney, but I guess I'm assuming they were able to still get the information, even though he tried scrubbing it off his hard drive and everything like that. They were able to get the information that he had actually accessed Amberlynn Costello. So she was the last girl to go missing. Okay. He actually accessed her Backpage ad on Backpage. So that right there to me is huge, because that, so far as we've known, besides hair, okay, his wife's hair, that's the only other solid evidence that they have connecting him to the victims, which I think is huge. So who knows what else they found in there. But that was one of the things that the district attorney talked about yesterday. So I thought that was pretty exciting, just for the fact that, that's a direct connection. And when he accessed her page, it was like the day before she went missing, or was murdered. But, oh, thank you, Nana. Again, thank you. Aw, thank you, Nana. When you guys gift the memberships, I've never done that before. I have no idea how to do that. Do you get to pick the people that it's gifted to, or does it just kind of automatically do it? I can't really see your answers right now because I'm driving. So I think it has to do with my debit card. Oh, sometimes that happens. So I'm almost home. But yeah, I thought that was pretty exciting news regarding that. This way, when he goes to trial, he's being charged. There was another thing they spoke about with the belt. And then, so they were talking about this belt, I don't know, that was found. And we talked about this years ago. It was, released years ago. And it was found, I think, strapped around her feet. So Maureen's feet. So and there was DNA evidence on there. So it looks like he's screwed. And he also put in a bail application, which I downloaded today, but I didn't read it yet. So I'm gonna go through that later. But fuck bail, dude. This guy's a danger to society. He shouldn't be out on the streets. I mean, yeah, was he living? Another thing I learned yesterday, and I'm cutting myself off here. Another thing I learned yesterday is that they were watching him on camera for a year prior to his arrest. So they had gone in his neighborhood and they had installed cameras on the poles around his house. And so they were able to watch him. I personally think that he knew he was being watched. I think he was very aware of the activity around his house and everything. Because you got to think of it like when you're looking up to see like what was going on with the investigation. He wanted to know about the cell data, how they retrieved the cell data and all that kind of stuff. So he was definitely, hyper aware, I think, of his surroundings. And the attorney was like, well, we don't have anything, there's nothing on those tapes. Um, Besides, him just coming home from work and sitting on his front porch and petting his dogs. And I'm like, well, he was laying low, obviously, for the last, couple of years. And especially when the new, you got to think about this, right? Prior to that year when he got caught, that year prior, we got a new police commissioner who came to town, right? A police commissioner and I believe a new district attorney. And then I think there was another, not the commissioner, chief, right? Well, when Commissioner Rodney Harris, who has now resigned for some reason, and we don't know exactly why that is. Some people say he retired. I'm not really sure. And I'm a little upset about that personally because he's the one who got this whole thing going. When he resigned, when he came into office, one of the first things he did was go on the news, do a press conference, and talk about the Gilgo case and like, look, we're solving this case. Okay. He was going to make that his first priority. And he did a whole press conference about it. So you have to think that whole entire year before they arrested him, while they were watching him, he knew that he was being watched. He knew that the police were closing in on him. So, he could have been purposely going outside, acting like this normal guy, but he wasn't because he was still doing all these weird searches. His lawyer, this was really funny yesterday. His lawyer tried to argue that, one of the reporters asked about the searches and he had some pretty disgusting searches. I don't know if you guys remember, but they were pretty horrifying. And it was pretty funny because his attorney's like, oh, he watches things. And if anybody looked at, your search history, they would think you're a killer too. And I'm thinking, yeah, because I watch a lot of true crime. So, you might see me look up things like, when does rigor mortis set in, right? Because you're looking at a case. I'm just giving an example, but I definitely don't think that the average person who watches, true crime is going to have searches like Asian twink and redhead being ard. You know what I'm saying? Teen girls. I don't think those are normal searches for true crime fans, but that was his argument. He was trying to say oh, he watches these shows and then he searches for things. And then, those searches lead to other searches. And I'm like, dude, how come all the searches that he has have to do with young girls getting art? That's, what's he watching there? Because I don't search anything like that. And I watch a lot of true crime. And God knows if somebody found my search history, they'd be like, what's wrong with this girl? I think any of us, because you're looking at these cases and stuff all the time. And you're like, oh, okay, well, what's this? What's that? So, but usually, right, when they find those searches, there's something to coincide with the search. Okay, you visited, you watched this show. true crime show and the person was killed in a certain way. And so you Google that, way that they were killed or something. And so, you know what I'm saying? Like there's something there to coincide with it that kind of substantiates the search. In his case, I don't know, man, but that was a pretty funny argument that I thought his attorney had yesterday about that. So we'll see what happens, but it should be really, really interesting. Really interesting. I wish I could go out there for like the press conferences and stuff, but I didn't even know this was happening. So, all right, I'm pulling into my driveway. I'm sweating my ball sack off because I have my heat up all the way in my car. Plus, I have 2 pairs of pants on, 2 shirts. I'm sweating. I don't even understand. My son's school was delayed 2 hours this morning, right? So I'm like, why would they delay it today and not yesterday? The roads were way worse yesterday than they were today. I just don't get it. All right, let me try to. How the fuck am I going to carry all this shit? I really don't have much. I just have a coffee and this box of cement dye here. Pigments, whatever. Ooh, it's icy. All right. I'm almost in the house. Hold on. You'll never know me, baby. I don't want no whips and chains. Is that the words? I don't even know if that's the words. This one says iPhone at Lanky Tour. Drive safe. Hold on. Can't tag. I'm driving to a doctor's appointment. Oh, I hope everything's okay. Why did that police chief? It wasn't the chief Golden Feather. It was the commissioner. And I really wish I knew. I wish I knew because he was the best thing that happened to the Suffolk County Police Department in a really long time. So, I got to show you guys what I got. Hold on. Let me just grab my coffee before it freezes into a ice block of coffee. I have that song just stuck in my head. My son listens to it. All right. So, tell you guys a funny little story here. I have this mold. Let me grab that first. I have so one of the things that I make, where's the I'll show you the finished item, not the mold itself. I'll have to put you guys down for a second. Hold on. Actually, you know what? Let's go sit at the table and do this. Let's sit at the table. It's 12:50. I can't light any candles. Maybe I can. All right. Sorry, just talking to myself over here. Oh, Ovi, you're gonna kill me here. You're gonna kill me. All right. Let me move this. Sorry, just trying to get myself. Oh, you know what? I have my. Oh no, it's upstairs. You know what? I'm gonna grab. I have a little thing to hold my phone. I need like one of those like arms like that holds their phone overhead. Because right now I'm using like this little mini tripod and I hate it because you could always see the leg when I'm filming something from like above. Where did I put that thing? Here it is. All right. We'll put you guys on this thing. My candles arrive tomorrow. Ooh, yay. Yeah. Somebody already got theirs. They commented yesterday. So yeah, if you ordered, they should definitely be arriving within like the next day or so. If you ordered, Miss Blue, actually, I have your other order in my truck right now. I totally was like heading out and forgot to head to the post office. But I'm gonna go after I get off of here. It's not gonna be too long. All right, let me see how we should do this without fucking this up. Oh, look at that. All right. Ovi, what do you want? You just came in. Now you want to go back out? You gotta make your mind up, dude. All right, so hold on. Yeah, yours is going out. I sent you both of the things that I made. The other one, the second one I did bled out a little tiny bit too, the resin, but it's on the bottom and it just looks better to me. I can't help it. It just happens sometimes. So, because they're not perfectly level, the trays. So it kind of but it looks better to me. Like that one doesn't look like the other one just didn't, I didn't like the other one. So you got two now. All right. So let's go. All right. So I have a mold that makes this vessel thing here, pot, whatever you want to call it. You could use it as a flower pot. It's pretty big. I'm actually going to I do a 3-wick candle in this, and I'm actually going to do that, right? When the time comes. So I ordered a second one so I could do multiple ones at a time. And the guy, when they sent it to me, I go and make it, and like the outside of it came out like dull. I was like, what the hell? And then I looked at the mold and I'm like, oh, I know why that is. The mold was like inside out. So like on the inside, I don't know if you guys can see, this one's kind of shiny, and the other one I have is kind of dull. So I was like, man, that really sucks, because now they're not going to look the same. You know, one of them's going to have like a dull finish on it. The other one's going to have this nice shiny finish. So I wrote to the company and I was like, you know, did something happen in the manufacturing process? And the guy was like, as I'm on the website, right, I'm going through on their Amazon page, I noticed that they used one of my pictures for like their advertisement, like in their description. They used the picture from my review that I did of the mold originally. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. They used my picture, you know, for like their thing. So anyway, you know, I write to the person and they write back to me and they're like, oh, we changed the mold or whatever. So I was like, well, that sucks, because now, you know, I'm going to have 2 different finishes on it. And I don't like the not shiny finish. I like it shiny. So the guy's like, well, I'll refund your money. And I'm like, oh, all right. And you can keep them all, just, I'll refund your money. So I was like, oh, all right. So I said to him, I was like, oh, by the way, I see you used my picture. That's pretty cool. So he says, as a gratitude, go on my store and pick out anything you want, and I'll send it to you for free. And I was like, oh, I'm like, are you serious? Like, that's pretty cool. So I don't want to be an asshole. I'm like, I ordered something that was cheaper than like what I had originally ordered. So I ordered this, which you guys can't really tell what it is, but I just got it. He sent it to me for totally for free. It's like 2 hands, kind of like this, like almost like when, no, that's this, right? When you go and get communion at church. All right. So they're kind of like this, maybe drinking water. I don't know. So this should be, I'll be adding this to the website once I make one. But it's just a set of hands, but it looks pretty damn cool, I think. All right. That was my story. But I thought that was pretty cool of a guy to send me a free thing, you know, just for using my picture. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Like, that was nice of him. He didn't have to do that, you know. He didn't have to send me anything. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Oh, and this is the cement, that the coloring that I got. So this is green. I'm gonna try doing like a cool green colored something, but that's what the colorant looks like. Ooh, it's old, but it doesn't matter how old it is. It's just powder. I'm definitely not opening this in here, but it's just green powder. I can mix to make different colors. I really was looking for like a blue, because I already have like a yellow and a terracotta kind of orangey color. So I was kind of looking for like a blue, but they didn't have it. So green it is, right? All right. Yeah, it was pretty cool that he used my picture. Oh, shit. All right, let me get my, she should do more tutorial videos. I definitely am. So, yesterday when I was in Michael's after I filmed my video, I was like, one of the things that I used to do the wood grain, and some idiot came in my comments yesterday, just look, sounded like somebody we all know. Okay. They're like, you didn't get that idea. You copied whatever, some candle company. And I'm like, dude, I never said this was my idea, like to paint wood green. I am by far not the first person to paint a faux wood green on something. Like, I'm like, are you fucking serious? I just deleted the comment. I was like, fuck you. You want to talk shit to me? Talk on my lives where I talk shit. Don't come on my fucking DIY videos and talk shit to me. I know exactly. We all know who it was and where it came from. Like, I was never trying to claim ownership over the idea. I actually seen other people doing it, but mine's different, you know? But don't we all get ideas from other people? Like, I don't know. Like, I certainly didn't I'm not the first person to, you know, make a cement vessel either. I mean, I'm not claiming ownership over any of this shit. But I figured I would make a video showing you the paint technique because you could do that on anything. You could do it on wood. You could do it on. I did it on my front door. I have another video, with my front door when I refinish that. So you could use that paint technique on pretty much anything you could paint with paint. So so anyway, while I was at Michael's yesterday, because I was going to see if the one what do you call it? I was going to see if they had the paint, this pickling wash shit that I use. They don't have it anymore, which is really sad because I found this bottle. I must have bought it for another project at some point, and I have it. And I was like, man, that sucks. Well, while I was in there, I found this stuff, which is pretty cool, man. Have you seen the ones that you have your logo on? Yeah, I do. They're really expensive though, so I could probably afford one, but not multiple. One day we'll get there. I found this stuff, so it's called Texture Sand, and it literally comes out. I'll show you guys. Hold on, let me put it on something that's. Fuck it. I'll just put it on my finger. Hold on. You gotta shake it really, really good, but so it comes out like that. It's almost like a grainy finish, like a toothpaste or something. It's pretty cool. So I was like, wow, wonder what I could do with this. So I was just experimenting last night, and this is, not that great. I was kind of just doing it quickly. I put a picture of this in my community page. I fucked it up, but anyway, I think that's pretty cool. It's like a sandy finish. I painted that and then painted it over it just to see how it would look on something like this. Not necessarily in this color. I just, it could be any color. And then I did this on this little bowl too, just like kind of matching, just to see how that would come out. I've been wanting to use this gold foil on something, so I thought that was pretty cool. And then I did this one. I'm not really too proud of this one, but these are just ones that I messed up, little vessels. But I did the same. This one I only did one layer, and then I wanted to see what a metallic would look like over it. So nothing crazy. I'm not really too proud of this one, but I was just really testing to see what colors look, good over it. You see, I have a lot of test pieces because this one had holes in it. So that's what I used to experiment with. Same with this one. I just wanted to experiment, but I was like, I think I could do a bunch of really cool stuff with this sandy finish stuff. I just wish they had a bigger bottle because it doesn't really go too far. But I just I think it's if you're going to be selling handmade things, it's kind of cool to show people what you're doing, and how you do it. So yeah. You like it, Nana? I didn't know if people would be into it. I think that especially on this color, maybe a lighter green, a more seafoam green would look good. I was lazy last night. I feel like mixing paints and shit, but I was doing this at midnight last night, so just trying to test it out. Feels really cool though. It's I don't know, it's nice and sandy. So I'll definitely be experimenting with that. I was thinking actually, because I have more lids like this. This is another test piece that I did because I sealed it with Mod Podge matte. Don't look too matte to me. Just to see how it would look, because I don't seal these when I'm done. There's a red sparkle on it. So I don't know. We'll have to see. But I was actually thinking this would look cool. I have another vessel that I make with similar lids on it. And I was like, oh, this might look cool covered in this sandy texture on the thing. So I'm going to try that. In fact, I was going to do that today because I have a lid in my garage right now. So yeah, that's what goes on over here. A lot of experimentation. I like the black teal combo. That's a good idea. So, which color? The blue? You like the blue or the kind of peach color? After I made these, because this is basically the same color as the small candles that I was selling, I realized that this is very close to the Pantone color of the year, which is something peach. I don't know. All right. I look like a mess right now. I literally just got dressed and threw a hat on. My hair's a mess. Everything's a mess. But all right. What was I just gonna grab here to show you guys? And you guys saw the black vessels. I really want to light these candles right now, but I guess I could keep them lit for 3 hours. Right, 1, 2, 3. I don't want to burn them unless I could burn them for like 3 hours to test. I have a bunch of testers that I made. 755. Hold on, I just got to put them in number order. 50, 55, and oh shit, did I not read it? No, 760. Okay. All right. You know what? I think I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Actually, no. You know what? I'll hold off on these until tomorrow. So yeah, there's a lot of experiments that go on over here. I'm constantly trying different things, you know. Anyway, thank you for the membership. Yeah, Nana, thank you. Thank you. Can you fill in the little holes after it cures? I can, but it's rough. It's hard, especially if it's a color, it's very hard to get the color to be exact, you know, every time. And then when you fill it in, cement doesn't really stick to cement all that well. So like, you know what I'm saying? Wet cement. I have filled, you know, holes in before if it's on like the bottom and I really don't care what it looks like. But if it's on like the outside surface and the outside surface is smooth, like filling in the hole, it's never really going to be smooth like that. So typically that's why I kind of hold on to those to just use them for testers basically. Oh, thank you, Nana. Thank you. I can't wait to get some of your candles. Yeah, Cassie, I'll be doing another round soon, you know, of candles. I want to do the bigger ones. And these latest ones I have here that I showed on my community page, these are the Beeford candles. That's what I'm gonna call them. The Beeford candles. um, hold on. These right here. I'm gonna call them see my coffee. The Beeford candle. Because I ordered this scent for her and it's actually really good. It's called Midnight. What is it called? Midsummer's Night. It just smells, it's very, very, very masculine smelling. But it kind of has like a soapy, almost cologne smell, but it's not overbearing. I actually really like it. I didn't think I would, but I actually really like it. So that's gonna be the Beeford special right there. And I put them in the black. I think that scent goes good with like the black vessels. So all right. So yeah, that's gonna be the Beefergy Fergie candle. I'm not really gonna name the candles like Laura does, but I think that's weird. But you guys know if I put those on the website and you order them, that's the Beefers candle. That's what I call it because I ordered that scent specifically for her. Because I don't know if you guys know the whole story, but you guys know Beefers, unfortunately lost her son in a car accident due to a piece of shit drunk driver. So, her son had a candle that somebody had given to him, and he used to burn it, and there was very little left in it, and she didn't want to burn off the rest of it. So she was like, I wish, I could get this candle again. So I was like, well, tell me what the scent is. Is there a label on it? And she's like, yeah. So she gave me the scent. It didn't have the exact scent because the company kind of made up a name from what I remember. So I typed in the notes on the scent. Oh no, I think I found it on the website. They had a website. And I just ordered the scent, and I remade her the candle with the scent, but it's so she doesn't have to burn her son's candle. She could keep that and hold on to whatever's left of it, and then if she wants to smell the fragrance of it, she could burn my candle. So I made her actually one of the big vessels that I just showed you with the 3 wicks that I'm gonna do. That's what I sent her. So that's why I called it the first candle. And she said that I got the scent pretty much, exact, which wasn't really me. It was basically I think it's a ripoff of some other scent from like maybe Bath and Body Works or something like that. Maybe Yankee Candle has a candle like that. And so it's like a replica scent. So that company that she had the original candle from probably used it, and I found it as well. So yeah, I was so happy to make her candle for her. I gotta do purple rains too. She wants just vanilla, plain old vanilla. So that's what she's getting. I have a little bit of vanilla scent left, and that's what she'll be getting. And I also found, oh my god, so good. I found this other, what is it called? It's called Clean Cotton Type. Okay, so it's not, doesn't even smell remotely close to the Clean Linen from Yankee Candle, but whatever the frick scent it is, oh my god, it smells so good. It's like really sweet. I don't know. I can't explain it. I'm not really good at explaining scents. Just kind of imagine. That's great you found that. I know. I was so excited, Shannon, when I found it, because like I I totally I totally get that, like when somebody passes away and like you have their stuff, the little things that you have that are left over, even if it's a small candle or something, just they mean a lot more to you, and you just don't want to let go of things. So I just like, I totally got what she was saying with the candle, and I'm like, don't burn the rest of it, we'll make it a replica, this way you could still have the scent, but you don't have to ruin the candle. So I like Clean Terrain. What's that? Hey, frustrated like you're keeping you repairs. Yes, always. So yeah, I was so excited about that I found that for her. So I figured I actually really like this scent, and I think it goes really good in these black vessels. And I think you guys will like it too, especially if you have like a guy in the house. I don't know. It's definitely a more masculine scent, but it's a clean, fresh scent too. So I think it's like a good year-round scent. That's what I'm trying to like mostly sell. And once, like next year when I get better at doing this and preparing for the seasons, I'm definitely gonna go crazy next year with some like pumpkin scents and shit like that. But right now I'm just just starting out, and so I'm trying to keep it to like common sense, that you could use at any time of the year, basically. My brother's cologne bottle was everything to me when he passed away. Yeah, I have one of my dad's colognes, I have my mom's perfumes. It's just like those little things become so much. My brother's wife took one of my mom's. She had a candle that she used to burn all the time, and it was like literally almost gone. And I think it was like a cinnamony kind of scent, and she took it. She took my mom's candle. That was like literally probably down to the point where it was like, you probably shouldn't even be burning it anymore, but okay. Anyway, oh, what else did I want to talk to you guys about? I saw a clip yesterday and I wanted to play it. That's right. Hold on. Need my laptop. But yeah. Dude, there's just so many different scents that you could sit here. I could freaking experiment all day with this shit. So, what's it called? I don't know what that is. Tertanus? Girl, you getting dirty over here? What you talking about? All right. You on StreamYard? That girl just sounds like a creep. Who? Who dat? Who dat? Uh-oh, no internet. That's not good. Oh, all right. It's loading up. I found this after I went live yesterday. So, all right. Let me get on the laptop real quick, and then we'll talk about it. Okay. I got to update my card. I heard you, StreamYards. I don't have to update my card. I have no money in that account. My business, all my money from my business, it goes on, it's pretty cool actually. Well, not all of it. Some of it goes into PayPal if you use PayPal, which is always, I like when people use PayPal. Whoops, hold on. Forgot to add myself. I like when people use PayPal only for the sheer fact that, like, when you use PayPal, the money instantaneously goes into PayPal, so it's usable, and I use the PayPal account mostly for my shipping. So I like to have the money in there. But also, if you pay just by like a regular credit card, it goes on to Shopify actually gives you your own credit card from them. It's not a credit card, it's more like a debit card, because you can't, it's not like I could go out and borrow, $1,000 from it or whatever. It's like a debit card basically. So anybody that pays on credit card, it goes right onto that card, so it doesn't go in my bank account. And the reason I did that is because, like, when it was going into my bank account, I would have to wait like a week sometimes for it to go into my bank, because it's like first they got to clear it and then the bank has to clear it. So it was like taking forever, and sometimes I need the money to get like supplies. So I was like, this is crazy. So at least with the Shopify card, it takes like a day or two. It's like definitely a lot quicker. But anyway, so clean terrain is spring. Ooh, rain, citrus, violet, cyclamen, and amber. You know what I'm trying to recreate? And I don't know if this would smell good in a candle. The Chanel Chance perfume that I wear. They give all the scent notes, and I'm like, I wonder if I can mix something together to make it smell similar in a candle. So I think that would be so cool. I got my candle today, and it is awesome. I love it so much. The tips insert you included was also freaking adorable. Oh, thanks, Kat. Wait, which one did you buy? Did you get the cotton one or the other one? The honeydew melon. Oh, you got the cotton. Okay. Yeah, and I threw that together. I need to edit it. I don't like the way it looks necessarily, but I just kind of threw it together. I think I'm going to break it down smaller and make it like a smaller card. I kind of threw that. I literally threw it together like in a night. Like I just put it all in there and wrote it up and just kind of threw it in there. But I thought it was good because, like, I had no idea that there was like a right and a wrong way to burn candles. Who the fuck knew? Because there's been times where I've purchased candles from like Target and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this thing? Like it hasn't worked properly. And I realized that I was like, oh shit. Like my mom had told me that you're supposed to trim the wicks, but I never did it. I never trimmed the wicks on my candles. I still don't sometimes, but it's really important to do it the first time. And then, if you notice it like leaning, or if it has like a big carbon buildup, like a mushroom looking thing at the top, it's probably a good idea to do it. But you're really supposed to do it after every like 4 or 5 hours of you burning it and then putting it out. And I also didn't know that the first time you burn a candle, you're supposed to let it burn for like 3 to 4 hours, And then the other thing, I actually just learned this the other day because it was funny. I had made these 2 candles and I was like, wow, this wax isn't really like, I'm not smelling the candle. And then I posted in this group and they were like, well, did you burn it down anymore? And I'm like, well, no, this was only for the first time. And they were like, okay, well, the more you burn it, the more the scent is going to come out. So like the highest scent you're going to get is when you're in like the middle. And I didn't know that because you would think that, you mix it in evenly and it distributes evenly, but you're going to get the best scent out of it when it's like halfway burnt down. And I didn't know that. So it is pretty interesting. But anyway, I figured I would share, what I learned with you guys because I had no idea that there was a right and a wrong way, to do this. And a lot of people are like, oh, I don't have wick cutters. I guess I can't cut the wick. I use nail clippers sometimes. You don't have to use a wick trimmer. It's nice to have, but I did write on there just because that's what most websites say, that you could cut it down to an 1/8 inch or a 1/4 inch. I personally just like the 1/8 inch makes me nervous. Like it's too small, but I don't know. It just makes me nervous. I'm like, that's too short, like what if you fuck the candle up? So I typically always trim it down to at least a 1/4 inch. Like that to me, I feel more safe with that. I feel like if you do it to 1/8 inch, you might cut the wick off completely because it's such a small amount. And that just scares me. Then you ruin your whole candle. So, yeah, I would go with the 1/4 inch personally, but I'm glad they smell and I'm glad you guys are excited. And I can't wait to hear how they burned. I hope that process goes good for everybody. I'm like definitely nervous just because like I've tested them, but I've never made a large batch like that, and you just never know. You never know what's going to go wrong, or I could have done something just so slightly different from the last time, and it could change things. So, but I think it should be okay. This wax is pretty, the wax I use in those is pretty forgiving. It's like a soy paraffin blend, and it's pretty good wax. So the thing I like about it the most, I mean, not only is it pretty easy to work with, but I like it because it really just, I've tested like 3 or 4 different types of waxes, and to me, that one looks the nicest when it burns, but it also gives off the best like scent. Like, and the only thing I don't like about it is that it does like get hung up on the side of the container more than other waxes that I have, but it's not that's all right as long as it's not like too much hang up. There's a little left on the side, that's fine. It's when there's like like a centimeter or more on the side, that's not good. That means that you don't have the right wick in there. So, but I can't wait to see how they burn, and if you guys enjoy them. So definitely give me feedback, even if it's negative. Like, I openly welcome that, because I will never know how to fix things unless people tell me. So if there's anything you notice that's not good about it, please let me know, and don't feel bad. I need to know. Actually, you guys are kind of like my test market, the first 20 buyers there, because I've never given this many candles out. So I kind of need the feedback from you guys. So you didn't know it, but when you bought the candle, you volunteered for you volunteered to be a tester, in a sense. Like, I've tested the candles myself, obviously, a lot, but I need to know from other people too, because there might be something I didn't notice, or something that happened, that I need to fix, and I kind of need to know about it. So just if you're burning it, just pay attention to it. Let me know how it's burning. That's all I need to know. All right, excuse me, sir. Could you get out of here? Oh, so let me find this clip. Hold on a second. Let me find. Get out of here. Out. Out. Out, 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 out. You little sneak. I can't even light my candles because I don't have a lighter. I have one that doesn't work, and my other one's out in the car. So I do have my torch. I guess I could use that. That might melt it a little bit, but whatever. All right. All right. Don't start it, Ovi. Don't. Stop it. No. Don't you talk back to me. Don't you talk back, you little rabbit. All right, where did I see this clip yesterday? Was it the Clipper channel? Hold on. I just got to look in my history and see if I can find this. Let me see. All right. Did you guys hear my crack torch? Oh, shit. That's so weird, dude. This is almost like the shit I used to make. All right. Ovi, come on. Stop. Hold on. I was trying to make like a cool thumbnail for my video yesterday, and then I just got so goddamn frustrated because I couldn't see. I don't know, the app I was using, it's a Photoshop like light on my phone, and it was giving me such a hard time, and I just got so aggravated with it. I just gave up. I was like, this is good enough. All right, so let me see what channel this was. I feel like I watched this after that. Clipper. Here we go. Okay. Well, there's 2 clips. We'll do this one first. So this is part of the live stream that Laura put on private the other day when Alicia was trying to stream it. All right. Let me just share that. And we'll wait for my crappy internet. He's always talking back. He's got a big mouth. Go ahead. Go outside. Go enjoy the freezing cold air. Let me tell you something. Dobermans do not like wet. Like, they don't like the rain. And he was like, not like, when I had a collie, she used to love going out in the snow.
Another thing, by the way.
All right.
So some of us, like, I didn't listen to all 26 episodes of.
Hold on. Why is
the
middle?
Lana?
Hold on. All right, let me go back. This was, I don't know why it started in the middle. I don't think I even listened to this whole clip. I heard the beginning and I was like, oh, geez.
I've been making candles all day, and I went into Discord and I saw.
Could you guys hear it?
A couple of my Patreons had some comments.
I just want to remember.
And I'm like, what the?
I just want to know if you guys could hear it because I want to make sure I shared it the right way. Learning how your how-to vids for your vessels. Maybe now people will shut up saying you don't make them. Beyond obvious, and you do. You're not faking that you do. Yeah, people. It wasn't Laura, actually, Sarah. I'd love to blame her, but it wasn't her who said it. It was some other asshole. They're like, go to the manufacturer and get, what they say, get it cheaper. And I'm like, I am the manufacturer, you fucking idiot. Like, there is no manufacturer. They thought I was buying my tea light holders from somewhere. The only thing that I don't make that I send you guys, that's on my website is if you buy a tea light holder, I don't make the actual tea light candles. Those I just buy in bulk and put them in there because why would I waste time making little tea lights, when you could just buy them so cheap? Like I throw usually if you order one, I try to throw in a few extra if I can, if I have extra, for you. Like that's the only thing I don't make, but everything else is me. I make it. I don't make the molds. The molds are, I guess anybody could buy the molds and make the vessels themselves, but I make everything that's in the candle on my website. It's all my, my hands crafting everything. All right. So, but yeah, it wasn't Laura. I think she's not that stupid, at least. All right. So let's go back to this. I just think it's cool to show people how
What the hell are they even talking about?
I was going to do it.
So, and normally I don't address.
Sorry. I was going to do it anyway. Like make videos to show people how I make things. Cause I don't know. I personally find it interesting. So I thought it was a good idea.
Shit like this, but I don't know why people have to lie about me. Have I not done fucked up shit that you just need to make up lies about me? Like even someone posted a video about, I don't know, something about Emma making candles and someone's I didn't even know she was making candles, nor do I give a fuck. Like who cares?
So remember we talked about this yesterday because she was like, I showed you guys the video. I guess I'm assuming that's the video that she was talking about because I didn't see any other video talking about me making candles. So that was the only video that I personally had seen. But I'm like, how did she even find this video? Like how did you find the video, Laura? You had to be Googling my name to find it. But like, come on, Laura, you didn't know I was making candles. I mean, are you like, you've said it on your live stream. Stop. You've acknowledged it before that I was making candles. You even said I failed at making them. So like, how are you going to sit there and pretend? Stop it.
So I don't,
stop.
Don't understand where all this shit comes from. Why these people have to make up stuff. I don't get it. Do you know, I don't even care about him. Like I just don't. Move on. These people are ridiculous. I'm honored that I am so important in these people's lives. And I am truly honored that I am just so awesome that these
I love when she does this. It's like this like reverse psychology thing, but it's like, Laura, you're not important in anybody's life. It's fucking YouTube. You're on a public platform. People listen to your shit. Okay. You get clipped just like on this channel. I'm subscribed to this channel. And so if they clip you, I watch the video. So it's like, you're not all that important. It's just that we see you on these clip channels and shit and we laugh at you or you leave a comment or something. It doesn't mean you're important. It just means that we saw a clip or something.
People can't get over me. Like they don't know how to move on. I guess I'm just that awesome. Thank you. That's like the biggest compliment ever. True Texan, exactly. But it's about to get worse. And then people talking about, they think they know my cash cow. Please tell me where the fuck you think you know who gives me money. Because I can assure you, you're 150% wrong. Just saying. I just don't understand. I don't. And that's a good point. Crystal, I don't understand why he wants to start Laura. He drags the mods here too.
She doesn't understand. She still doesn't understand after how many years of this. She's like, I just don't understand. I just don't understand.
It's awful. I honestly don't see anything Capone writes. One, because I have him blocked, but two, I don't watch the people he leaves comments.
So again, she says that, but how many times have we heard her talk about his comments? Comment on his comments and like bring them up on her screen.
It's for
Like, Laura, really, would it kill you to just tell the truth for once? Like, you know, really, would it hurt you to tell the truth? I mean, what's the worst that could happen if you just told the truth about something? Jeez.
But it's been long enough. Move on, Capone. Get over me. Like, seriously.
So again, she's always like, it's been long enough. Get over me. And it's like, Laura, in normal, day-to-day life, right? When you fall out with a friend, and you guys go your separate ways, that you don't see that friend, you don't hear about that friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't hear that friend talking. It's like you go away and that's it. It's over. But this is YouTube, where when you fall out with friends, the friends are still there. The person's still there and they're still publicly being seen, and you still have access to hear what they have to say about things. So it's like, but the other difference here is that when you fall out with friends, you usually don't go into this like shit talking back and forth thing, and they don't lie about you, or they might. I mean, it depends, but you do these things where you inflame people more and more and more and more, to the point where they just get so angry with you that they don't want to stop expressing themselves and how they feel about you. And they have every right to do that. It's not that they're still angry about the friendship or anything or what happened to them. It's that they see you continuing on the same type of behavior to other people, hurting other people in the same way. And it's like you just get this feeling that you're like, I don't want to see other people go through the same kind of feelings that I had to go through. Because, most people care about other people.
Move on. There's no reason for you to talk about me. I don't.
But she makes it like people were like in love with her. She's like, move on. It's like, Laura, this is YouTube. I mean, this is how YouTube is and always has been. And you can't sit there and act like you didn't know this or something. It's just like, I don't know.
Discuss you. I don't down you. I don't put you down. I don't.
But you have, and you don't need to. That's the other thing about YouTube. You don't need to talk about somebody for them to have an opinion on you. You're on a public platform where, again, people have access and can see you and can hear you. So you don't need to talk about them for them to have an opinion. She don't get that. She's got control problems.
I don't know why you have to talk about me all the time.
All the time.
I don't know anything about that, nor do I care. But this one person made a video. I don't even know the channel. Made a video talking about how Laura's triggered and her cash cow is. What the fuck are you talking about? Nobody's triggered by shit.
What the fuck are you talking about? Nobody's triggered by shit. It's like, okay, we believe you.
Like, honestly, I'm going to say the same thing when Alicia started making candles. I am Jiggy. I'm going to tell MM the same thing. I wish her the best of luck. I hope she makes $1 million.
Does this sound like sincere to anybody? Does this sound sincere at all? I wish her the best of luck. I hope she makes $1 million. Okay.
I hope her business is huge, and I hope she's able to open up a store in Long Island and make a shitload of money.
Okay, why do you have to say where this store is going to be? It's like, I mean, everybody knows I live on Long Island, but it's like, why do you even have to put that in there, Laura? Why? But again, I mean, I talked about this yesterday because we caught the tail end of this clip yesterday. I mean, Laura, come on, dude. You're just like totally unrealistic about any of this. Open up a store? Really? Like, really? You really think that that's fucking possible for me to open an entire store and be able to afford rent for fucking, cement items? Really, Laura? You really think that? I mean, that just goes to show how delusional you are about your own fucking situation. Because, I mean, come on, Laura. I'm not doing anything here that a store, maybe a more realistic expectation would be like to get my stuff sold in a small boutique or something. get like a little shelf in a boutique. That might be a more realistic thing, which I actually might do. There's this place in this little town over here, and I was in there one time and I seen something similar to stuff I make, and I was like, ooh, I should bring my stuff down here. And like, but then you have to share the profits with somebody. I don't know. I just think, I'm like, I mean, that's just not realistic, Laura, for what I'm doing. Like, I don't know why that's your wish for me. Like, to make $1 million off of this? Like, are you fucking delusional? Who in the world goes into the handmade item business thinking that they're gonna fucking turn out a millionaire? Like, again, most people go into it because they love what they're doing, first and foremost, and then it's like, okay, well, I can make some money off of this, so that's cool. Like people that do resin, they do it because they enjoy the resin, they enjoy the art. And I don't think she quite understands that. I think she went into the candle making thing like, oh, this is a good idea, I can make money, but it's like, no. It's a craft that you have to love first, and then you can make money off of it, but I don't know. I don't know. I mean, she's just delusional thinking that I would ever become a millionaire. Like, that's why I'm like, yeah, Laura, you sound really sincere, because like, come on, you have to know that that's probably not going to happen. And I'm totally okay with that, because I'm not looking to be a millionaire making concrete vessels.
Stop.
Thank you, D-Rod. I mean, they are, look, but anybody could do this. Any one of you guys could do what I'm doing. It just takes a little time, a little research, and a little practice, and you can figure it out. I mean, really, anybody could do it. What happened to the 400-pound resin epoxy? Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus.
This is how I feel. And I'm sorry that they can't reciprocate something like that. I'm sorry that they're so evil-driven.
Poor Fluffer.
Stop. I'm not in the mood. Stop.
So we're supposed to believe that she's not triggered. I'm not in the mood. Stop. We heard a little bit of this yesterday. I didn't hear the rest.
And that I'm so sorry that they're so hate driven that they can't do that, but I can, and I always have. So again, I don't care that she makes candles. It is the biggest fucking compliment to me that all these people started making candles after I did. That is.
Oh my God. Laura, how is that a compliment to you? Like, you invented candles? I don't understand. Again, she's so narcissistic, man. So narcissistic. All these people, all what people? Me, Alicia, and what's her name? Fucking Chasing Truth. Is that like the people that you're so complimented by? Like all these people. Laura, there's 1 million people that are gonna start doing things after you. And that doesn't mean that they're all trying to be you or copy you or they're complimenting you. It's just that, I mean, candle making became very popular during COVID. A lot of crafts did. A lot of home-based businesses started during COVID because people were home, they were bored out of their minds, and they were looking to do things to keep themselves busy and keep themselves afloat, financially. And so people started handcrafting things. So I started doing nails during COVID. I was like, oh, it made me, I want to take the nail classes. I just can't because they don't offer them at a time where it's convenient for me. But if I could, I would be in the nail classes right now. I wouldn't even be on here, if I had the ability to do that right now. I just don't, or the time rather. But, like you didn't invent candles. Were you copying Oni or Sarah Smiles, who made candles and always talked about her candles? I mean, you're not the only person. Purple Rain made candles 12 years ago. So are you complimenting her by making candles? No. Candles are a very common craft, Laura. So common that when you go into Hobby Lobby or Michael's, there's an entire aisle just dedicated to candle making. I mean, she acts like she invented fucking candles over here. Laura invented electricity. I don't know if you know this. Like, I honestly don't know what got her. I think I asked her one time because I thought it was so random. I was like, what made you get into candle making? Because when she first started doing it, I was friends with her. And I couldn't believe how quickly she was selling things because it came out of nowhere. It's not like she lost her job, and she was trying to figure out what to do when she lost her job. but I had no idea like where did this come from? Like she had never mentioned anything like that before. And all of a sudden one day she was just like, I'm gonna make candles. I'm gonna start a candle company. And I was like, what? So I'm like, what made you, get into that? And she's like, well, I like candles. I'm like, okay. Like that was it. And then like literally within like a week, she was already selling candles to people. And I was like, wow, that was quick, because like I don't know, I just wouldn't feel comfortable doing that quickly, especially with something that is being sent to people's houses that could potentially burn their fucking house down, you know? Yikes. I make candles too, except none of them look like half eaten, discarded cupcake. Oh, so you must be copying her too then, because anybody that makes candles. And honestly, like I said, my purpose was not to become the next fucking candle maker. It still isn't. I honestly, there's too many other things that I like making that I feel like candles are just a little part of it. Like what I sell, I like the home decor. That's why my company name says that, because I feel like that's what I'm making, things that you could put in your house that are decorative, you know? That's the purpose they serve, is to be part of your decor in your house.
Honestly, a compliment. That is like, wow, I'm doing something that they want to do. They see my success, so they want to be successful.
Lord, you're not successful though, dude. You're just not. I don't know who the fuck you're kidding, but you're not successful yet. Maybe one day, but when you could completely afford your life off your business with no other outside help from the government, from people, YouTube, then I would maybe say, yeah, you're a success. When you could buy your own house with the money from your business, right? And sustain your life entirely off of your business, and then some, then I'd say, yeah, you're successful. I do not look at you as successful when I see you up here e-begging, putting out Christmas lists and all this other bullshit. I just don't see you as a success. I see you as a business that's trying to grow still, but not as a success yet. Okay. So yeah.
That's fine.
But again, your goals in this, which I don't know, you compare yourself to a high-end, already established, sold in high-end store brand, right? And I don't know if that's your goal. You say it is. You want to be the next Joe Malone. I mean, that is like so far and almost unobtainable to the average person. It's so far out of your reach, because you're not even right now, you're not even in their market to compete with them. In order for you to even compete with them, your products would have to be sold in the same stores as theirs are sold, at the same price point or around the same price point. You're selling $25 candles, 7-ounce candles. That's not the same price point. You're selling them on your website. That's not really competition. So I don't know. I wouldn't even say Yankee Candles your competition at this point, but But I mean, look, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with reaching for the stars. You should always try to reach for the stars, but like you also have to be realistic in what you're doing. And I just, I don't see you being a success yet. So, but okay.
Fine. And again, that is a fucking compliment.
But it's like, Laura, here's the other thing. Sorry. She acts as if she's the first person to ever make something and sell something on YouTube. Like, it's like, I already have an established kind of following here, right? So why not, share my stuff that I make and sell it to people, like, where I don't have to do as much work, where I'd have to start from the ground up. And you know what I'm saying? That's the hardest part of selling a business, is getting customers, especially a website. There's a million websites, out there. How are people going to find my website? So you start off with the people that already are in your, circle, and then you hope that they spread the word. They tell their friends about you and this and that. But like, I mean, I don't know. I don't even remember where I was going with that, but she's just so unrealistic about this whole thing. Like, it's not even funny. It's not even funny. She really has some weird expectations about, you know, where she's going with this business. Like, you're just not there yet, Laura.
Meant to me. And I'm sorry that these idiots just can't.
Oh, I was saying she's not the first person that sold a product, right, to their audience, right? Or whatever. Like a lot of people do that. She acts like she's the first person to ever do this, and everybody copied her. It's like, okay, Laura. All right. But you know, who'd you copy, Laura? You copied Oni, right? He was the first person I knew of on here that was making candles and selling them to his audience. So, you know, you're kind of a little late on that one. But she's so narcissistic that she thinks everything's about her and what she does. It's like, oh my God. She's not bothered by the candles, by the fact that I made candles and didn't know about it, but she keeps going on and on about it, right? And I honestly had no intentions. I mean, I told you guys this yesterday. Like, this is the God's honest truth. I had thought about doing the candles, and then I was like, well, how profitable is it going to be to me? You know, because I really just don't think it's all that profitable unless you're selling large mass quantities of them. But when she said I failed, I was like, oh, no, you didn't, girl. Like, I didn't fail. I don't fail at anything, you know? Well, I might fail at a couple of subjects in school and shit, but, you know, when it comes to the fucking crafting world, failure is not an option, you know? Like, I will make it fucking work. So, you know, you said I failed, so I proved you wrong, Laura. That's all. Like, I really had no intentions of really selling candles because I was like, I'm like, this is just a lot of work for not that much money. It's not all that profitable. So she could sit here and lie to everybody and act like she's making $1 million off her candles, dude. I know what these things cost. Alicia knows. Okay, 2 people that make candles. Anybody that makes candles knows that it's not easy to profit. If you're doing like a craft shows, right? Then maybe it's more profitable. But when you're selling them online, you're adding so much more cost to your product. You have shipping costs, you have you know, part of the shipping cost is the boxes, the packing material, the tape, the fucking everything. You know, your branding, any kind of branding you're going to put on your packaging, you know, that's all more expense. Your website fees, your domain fees, all that shit costs money. You know, so it's very hard. If you're making them and you're going to a local fair and selling them, then maybe it's a little bit more profitable, but you still have fees. You have to pay for a space at the fair, you know? So, I mean, either way you're paying, but I don't know. I just I don't find it all that profitable.
See that.
I guess a new place. I will relaunch ready to ship items online. Also go back to my silver jewelry sales as well. Definitely do that, Sarah. If you need help, I kind of figured out, you know, after all was said and done, Etsy, and I was thinking of maybe listing some stuff on Etsy just to see how it would do, like taking a couple of items and listing them on there. What do you call it? Etsy, really at the end of the day, I think when all is said and done, if you do a regular website like Shopify and you do Etsy, because Etsy takes a percentage, right? They charge, I did Etsy back in the day, so I don't remember the exact amounts, but they charge a fee to list, like a listing fee, and I'm not sure if it's still the same. And then they also take money out of your profit, you know, out of, well, your sale, I think. So there's like a percentage that they take. Back when I did it, I was doing invitations on there. It wasn't that much money. It was like a couple of cents to like list the item and then whatever. But you know, when all said and done, I guess it kind of works out to the same as like having your own website. Because when you have your own website, there's different fees that you have to pay. So you're still paying no matter what. There's like nowhere you could go and just put your shit up for free. You're always going to have to list it for some type of cost, which sucks, you know, because it's like you're really not paying for anything, but you are, you know. If I knew how to build like a website from the ground up, I would just get my own website, you know, domain name and do that. But I need Shopify or something that helps me build a website because I do not know how, you know, I don't know anything about coding or anything like that. Can you imagine Laura selling at fairs? Yeah, she did that. She did that. She went to like a beer festival and who knows how well she did, but
that's not my problem. That's their problem. Moving on.
It sounds like it's your problem because you're the one bugging out about it, Laura.
So another comment had to do with Barnyard. And I have no, because this dog is going to drive me fucking nuts. He wasn't barking for hours. As soon as I go live, now he's barking his head up, and it's going like through my skin. He doesn't want to play with you. He doesn't have to.
Great.
Uka,
Get out of
drive me nuts.
Trying to get my hat. Get out of here. Why? Yo, let me ask you a question. Why you always gotta touch my stuff? Why you always gotta touch my hat, my stuff, my shoes? Huh? You trying to send a message? You ain't getting this hat, brother. Where's your ball? Let's go put some treats in there. Come on. He's so vindictive. He literally will go after my shit. Like, it's so funny. As soon as I put something of mine down, if I hang a sweatshirt on the back, he's trying to go after it right now. You little sneak. But if I hang my shirt on the back of the chair and like my husband hangs his, he'll take my shirt. Like he's so vindictive. You're so vindictive. All right. Let me put some treats in here for you. Excuse me.
I'm also like, I'm not one to get fucking I'm not one to get frustrated like easily with a dog or anything. I'm just not. But when I'm cooped up in a house and I can't leave, it's like, ugh.
You know why she's making this excuse? Because her and all her weirdo people have judged me for yelling at my dog. Because, you know, I shouldn't yell at him, apparently. I should just let him, like, rip my house apart and, you know, bark his head off constantly. You know, I shouldn't discipline him ever. I shouldn't correct him and redirect him ever. There you go, buddy. I'm so mean to him. I've seen like so many comments are like, oh my God, she's so mean to her dog. Cause like I call him stupid or something. Like it's a term of endearment. Get over here, stupid. That's how we talk like around my house, you know? Not literally meaning he's stupid. Well, he could be sometimes, but they're like the dog knows what stupid means anyway. But you know what I'm saying? They're like, oh my God, she's so mean to her dog. I'm like, dude, I'm yelling at the dog. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm shocked Laura's actually yelling at her dog because normally she lets that fucking thing bark. And that's just such a bad habit to let your dog get into. You have to correct them and let them know when it's right to bark, when there's a stranger or danger approaching, you know, then when they're just barking at you for attention. That's not right. So the last thing you do is give it attention. You think he is second in command when your husband is out? Does he think he is second in command? Oh no, infidelity. He thinks he's first in command always. Ovi. He rules the roost over here. He's the boss. He thinks he is, just like my son thinks he is. You know?
So I think that's why I'm like, he might be feeding off my energy. Who knows? But I just heard this a couple of minutes ago. So Barnyard, if you're around, feel free to take a link, Barnyard, because I want to know why the fuck you're lying about me, Jonice. First, keep Jonice's name out of your mouth. That's first of all.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth. Every time I hear that.
But
we heard this yesterday.
Let me play you guys what she said, and then I will answer. Hold on. Okay. I had to restart my computer.
This is the part we didn't hear yesterday. I didn't hear what Barnyard said, so I want to hear what she said.
Let me get it.
Barnyard. AKA Diamond Cutter, in case anybody's wondering who Barnyard is.
Oh, and also, when this is over, I keep saying Barnyard, Diamond Cutter.
I don't know it's in chains. Did you guys hear that?
So, another thing, by the way. I know, right, Joy? Hey, Jenny. Another thing, by the way.
Sorry, I'm fixing one of my test candles here because the wick was no good. So I pulled the old wick out and I put the new wick in. So I'm just like remelting the wax around it. So sorry if you hear this thing.
So some of us, like, I didn't listen to all 26 episodes of the Lana versus Melissa Jade, but I skipped all the way to the end and I heard the last speech.
Hold on. I just want to know something. If I mute my microphone, can you guys still hear this? Ready? I'm going to press mute right now. Let me know if you could hear this.
The closing statement by Melissa Jade. You know what? You don't even have to listen to the rest of it. You just got to listen.
Okay. Did you just hear Laura playing while I was muted? I'm just curious because I don't know how it works. Did you see batshit Lana lose to MJ? No, I have paid no attention to that at all, so I have no idea what's going on. I knew that that girl was batshit crazy back when she was like trying to fucking free Chris Watts out of prison. I was like, oh my God, dude, this girl's insane. Like, there's something wrong with her. I mean, why would you get yourself even involved in that, for starters? But yeah, you're batshit crazy. He is not innocent. Sorry. Like, look, the guy took a fucking plea deal. That's the cards he was dealt, and that's it. He's in jail for life. Nothing's gonna change, even if he got a trial, probably, because there's so much fucking damning evidence against the guy, the lying, everything. So in fact, I don't know, dude, I got sucked back into the Chris Watts shit, and I've been watching like some of the body camera footage and shit over the last couple of days, and I'm like, dude, like, I don't even know how the fuck you could do that. How do you pull that off? Everything went wrong for this guy, after he did what he did. But the craziest thing, and I don't know if people remember this, the neighbor, Nate Trinistich, right? This shit's amazing, honestly. That guy deserves like a badge of honor, honestly. Well, so does the friend Nicole, right? Because she was like, as soon as she knew that Shanann had deviated off of her normal routine, she knew something was up, so obviously she deserves, credit there too. But I'm just saying the neighbor as well, because I was watching the body cam footage of when the cops got to the house that day, right? And they go next door. First of all, the first thing he did was he went to his security footage, and he was just like, he's looking at the security footage. He knows the normal routine of Chris. He's like, he don't normally back his truck in like that, something was up. But he also I think good. He read his body language as well. He was like, nah, he ain't acting right. Like, he put it all together in his head, because looking at it in hindsight, we could all see that he's very obviously like acting funny, but like, and we know what happened. But you got to remember, when they were going through it, they didn't know what was going on. They didn't know if Shanann just simply left the house, but he was the first one to really put it together that something was wrong. Nicole was just more, I think, thinking that Shanann was sick, or, like something could have happened to her medically. But the neighbor really is the one who put it together that like, no, this guy ain't acting right. He's not acting right, and it was, anyway. So I'm watching the footage there, and I could see him like watching Chris while they're looking at the security camera, and you could just tell that Chris Watts is about to have the panic attack of his life, or probably was having the panic attack of his life. He's got his hands up on his head. He's breathing really heavily. He's like, can't sit still, because they're literally watching the footage of him backing into the garage and loading the bodies in to the truck. And I noticed that in that footage, he was very aware that the camera was there, because even when he went to go walk into the passenger side of his house, and I noticed there was another thing when I was watching this again. But anyway, I'll finish what I was saying. He goes and walks around the truck. So to get to the passenger side door in the front, instead of just walking from behind the truck right to that, he went all the way around the whole front of the car to go to the passenger side door. But Nate made an interesting comment during that I don't know if I ever really picked up on before. Maybe other people did, and I just didn't notice it, where he says that Chris was claiming that his truck had gotten broken into. And so he asked Nate if he could park the truck in front of the house in the camera view in the street, to see if like they come back or whatever. I think that he just wanted to see Nate's camera, maybe, and see where his, what Nate could see on his camera. So he made the story up about his truck being broken into. I don't know. I could be wrong, but it was just an interesting thing to note, like, what's the chances, But anyway, where the fuck was I going with this whole story? And were you guys able to hear the thing when I muted it? I didn't see if anybody answered. They both knew he was lying. Yeah, I think she knew too, but I think she still had like hope that, perhaps Shanann just left. I don't know. I mean, I can't say 100%. Any innocent man would have been intently watching the screen. Yeah, exactly. He was like totally like not paying attention to it. I mean, he must have been shitting himself. Oh, that's what I was going to say. So the craziest part about that, okay, that I totally like forgot about, while they're watching it, Nate is going back and forth, because I guess it's through his cable company, so it's all on his TV. So he's going back and forth between like regular TV coming back on and then having to go back into the camera. So while they're standing there, they look at the footage, they watch the footage, and all of a sudden, right, the Discovery Channel's on, and this thing comes on screen, and it's a fetus, it's a baby in a womb, and Chris looks over at the screen, and he he turns to the cop. I shouldn't be laughing, but I'm laughing because he's so stupid. He turns to the cop and he's like, "Oh, she's pregnant too." After he sees it. But the crazy part is, dude, and if you don't believe in signs, I'm telling you that was a fucking sign that happened at that time while they were standing there, while the cop was recording it. Like it all coincided. It was crazy. The baby, right? It's the baby. All of a sudden on the screen, you see like this, graphic of a baby in a womb. Okay. And it like zooms in, and all of a sudden the light just flashes and there's an explosion. And the next thing you see on screen is just darkness and a skull. And you see a pair of hands grabbing the skull and pulling it down. And I'm like, holy shit. Like that was a fucking sign right there. I don't care what anybody says. That was a fucking sign from Shanann or somebody letting people know he killed me and the baby. I mean, what would be the chances of that all happening at the same time? Him being there, the cop recording it, the neighbor looking at the security camera while she's missing, trying to figure out what happened to her. It's crazy to me. Crazy. It was the American Horror Story trailer. Oh, is that what it was? Yeah. See, what's the chances though? I was like, holy shit, And then he turns around, he's like, oh, she's pregnant. But I was like, I was watching it, yeah, and I when I followed the case initially years ago when it first happened, like my head was like really not in a good place. I was just still grieving pretty badly. My mom had I was probably like a year into my grief. I was fighting with my brother. Like all this shit was kind of still going on, or it just ended. And I'm going back and rewatching it again. I see it a little bit differently, especially knowing what I know now. When I years ago when I first, started before we had all the information, I looked at it a little differently. Now I feel like I'm looking at it with a whole new set of eyes because I've said it before on here, but that case will haunt me forever because I just don't understand how a seemingly normal guy, who never had issues in his life, never fought with people, never I mean, by all intents and purposes, is described by everybody that knew him as this amazing guy, quiet but amazing, kind, caring. I mean, and then you could see it in the videos. You see in the videos of Shanann's, if you watch her videos, which I was doing the other night, because they just keep popping up on my feed. Like these compilation videos of her Thrive videos, which I think are crazy. I'm sorry. I have my opinion about Shanann. People might not like it, but I think she was a little out of her mind. Does not justify what happened to her. Let me just put that out there. But I think her strong personality definitely did not help, things in their situation, and doesn't mean she deserved what happened to her. But, she's a human being, she had her faults, just like everybody else does. But besides that, anyway, in those videos, you could see Chris doing things to care for the kids that, you know what I'm saying? That like an evil person just wouldn't do. Like the baby's sick, she sneezes, he grabs a tissue and wipes her nose. Like little things like that, that show you that he's a caring and attentive father. He's sitting there wiping the nose of the kid. Like he didn't have to do that. I mean, as a father, you should take care of your kids, but I'm just saying, like, there's little things that happen during these videos, where Shanann's kind of sorry, but she's kind of ignoring the kids, which is why I'm watching these videos and I'm like, this is why I don't go live when my family is home, because those videos are messy. Let's just be honest, with the kids screaming in the background. And, it was a mess always, her videos, her lives, it's like, dude, take care of your kids. Like, fucking, I don't know. To me, even when Jesse was a baby and he was that age, when I would like film videos, it was always while he was napping. I never did it while he was awake, because it's like it's almost impossible to do anything when you have a toddler and a preschooler at that age. It's almost impossible to do anything for yourself. or anything else that you want to do. So, I mean, she really should have. The kids went to daycare. She should have been filming the videos while they were at daycare. I don't know. But she used the family, and that's the part that I think bothers me the most is that she used to constantly use the kids, like, oh, I wouldn't, I wouldn't be able to deal with this if I didn't have my Thrive patch on. Like, come on, dude. Like what? What do you mean? Stop. What would be the outcome if you didn't have the Thrive patch on? Like, give me a break. The Thrive ain't helping you deal with your kids. And her kids were never being bad. They were just being normal kids. Like, whatever. I'm not gonna rip her apart because I know it upsets people, but there was definitely things in those videos that I was like, yeah. Anyway, but what was I gonna say? I think Anastasia, I think it's okay to have opinions about her because you know what? Here's the thing. I was listening, I found this other channel. It's called What's the Obsession. And the lady that runs the channel, I actually really like her. She sounds like the girl that goes on Queen Bee's panel, Ella, I think. She has like the same kind of like nice voice as her, That girl has like a nice voice. But anyway, like just calming voice, She's very, very, very nice. But she's a psychotherapist of some type, I think. And she does videos where she's like very honest about Shanann's behavior. And I feel like, there's so many people out there, and that's why I completely stopped fucking talking about that case, discussing that case, is because so many people were so over emotional about the case. And I get it. I'm rewatching the videos now, looking at Cece and Bella in a totally different way because like back then, I don't know, maybe my emotions were just all fucked up from my own trauma that I was went through, that it didn't hit me as hard. It's like Bella's the same age as my son, dude. And I'm watching her the other night and I was getting so emotional about it because I was like, dude, like she's the same age as my son. She's a year younger. So I think her birthday's in December. But like that, like she would be 10 years old this year. And that is so fucking sad. Like these little girls, they didn't realize how young they were. They didn't even get to live their lives, And then we watch her, and I feel so bad for her because she always looks so sad in the videos. She's always looking sad, and it's just, she was so cute, and they were both so cute. But anyway, the girl that I was watching this channel called What's the Obsession, the girls really, she said it the other day. She's like, it's really important to acknowledge, that Shanann was human and that she had her faults because whether you like it or not, her ways, okay, played into the dynamic that ultimately ended up into, things being the way they were. Not blaming her for her own death. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that her ways, she was very domineering. Everybody that was in her family described her like this. I mean, her friends, her family, his friends, everybody described her like this. And everybody's like, oh, well, she's a strong woman. Well, yeah, maybe she was. But you know what? She was also a little controlling and a little bossy. She controlled the finances. He didn't even have access to the finances. And then they're in bankruptcy. She's trying to she made mistakes just like everybody else does. She's trying to keep up with the Joneses and portray this lifestyle that just wasn't realistic given the fact that, Chris was just a blue collar worker, working in an oil field. And she was, selling a product that probably cost her more money to sell than it did to, than she profited off of. So it's like, if you look at the house and there's all these expensive items in the house, the bed, I looked like the bed. I was looking at the bed. I'm like, dude, that bed had to cost like $4,000 or $5,000 more than that. It's got those big fat wood columns, so she was living this extravagant lifestyle, traveling and all this shit, but really couldn't afford it, so, and that's her fault. And then I'm sorry, but I think there was a little touch of Munchausen going on there. And if you guys don't agree, sorry, but those kids did not have all those medical problems, dude. There's no way, so she had things about her and he had his faults. Chris was a pussy. The guy didn't stand up for himself. How do you get, I kind of look at him like I look at my brother, like you let the person, you got yourself into the situation. And you got yourself into a relationship where you let your wife control everything. So you can't turn around and be like, oh, I'm a victim now. You let that happen to you. So I don't know. It's important though to acknowledge those things because it could save this from happening again to somebody. And it just kills me. Thank you, Miss Blue. It kills me that people just get so angry at the first, criticism of her. They're like, oh, she didn't deserve what happened. Like nobody thinks that. And I don't think that for a second that she deserved what happened to her. Of course not. He should have gotten divorced and walked away from the relationship. But like, her attitude, the way she treated him, okay? And I'm not saying he was like some, poor abused guy. I'm just saying like the dynamics of their relationship definitely played a role in the way things went in the end, whether people want to acknowledge it or not. Because that's just reality, and saying things that are observations that people are making about her doesn't, mean that she deserved it because I don't think that at all. But she definitely had, some mental issues going on because she was a normal person. I think it's so unhealthy to be unrealistic about people when they're, gone. People tend to idealize people when they pass away. Everybody does it. It's like all of a sudden everything they did in life was perfect. And that's just not true. I've always been realistic about my dad. I love my dad. He was, he had a good heart, but he wasn't always the nicest person, man. And I'm realistic about it. I think that was one of the things that with my mom when she was grieving, she took on this ultra idealized view of my dad and their relationship that just wasn't reality. And I remember having this discussion with her sister, one of my aunts at the time. And I think it was making her grief even harder on her because she wasn't looking at the reality of the situation. She had this like really idealized view of their marriage that it just wasn't real, So I don't think it's good necessarily to idealize people and forget that they had faults and were human when they pass away or if they're a victim. But again, that does not mean that she deserved what happened to her in any way, shape, or form. I mean, obviously, that is not the solution, especially the kids. And that's the part I can never, and I'm sure everybody else feels the same way. Like, I just can never wrap my head around the children. The only way I could possibly make sense about it is he got in a fight with her. We'll never know what truly happened. And I personally, and I don't know about you guys, but I don't believe his confessions. I don't believe the stories he's told. I think he's lying about everything. I think there's maybe little hints of truth, but I think he's definitely not telling the full truth of what happened that night. I personally think that she came home and confronted him that night. Rightfully so, because the bank card, right? He had gone out to dinner and he had spent $60 on dinner that night. And so her and her friend looked up the menu and he said he got salmon and drank like a beer or two. And so they did the math and the math wasn't mathing. The math wasn't mathing. And so I think she came home that night. I think she confronted him. I think they got into a fight. I think she probably told him like, look, I'm taking the kids. You're never going to see them. And then things just went from there. Whatever happened. The part that'll always haunt me is that both of them had no marks on them. No, what is it called? Defensive wounds or anything. Like that's crazy. He didn't have any. She didn't have any. Very strange. Very, very strange. Also very strange, her autopsy report, apparently she was like a perfectly healthy person. And I'm like, did she really have lupus? Because if you have lupus, it damages your organs, but I guess it depends on what type of lupus you have. I don't know, man. I think she had a little touch of Munchausen. Just saying. Not a severe case like Gypsy Rose, but definitely a case of it because I mean, what were the chances that both kids needed their and what is it called? An endoidectomy, something like that, right? Their endoid and whatever they're fucking called, and like something else surgery at the same time. Like, what's the chances of that? Um, she seemed to want to get attention for medical things. Like she was constantly posting every doctor's visit, you know, or the kids were always sick, or I don't know. She definitely liked attention. I mean, that's for sure. Um, But yeah, I think there was some type of fight that night, or even if he had it in his head planned, you can never obviously plan things perfectly. A lot of people say that, oh, he killed her while she was sleeping, and that's why there's no defensive wounds. And I don't believe that, because even if you were sleeping, if somebody gets on top of you, you're gonna wake up, dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I mean, if you're stabbing somebody in their sleep, that's a little different. I mean, you could even look at the Gypsy Rose thing, right? She was sleeping, started getting stabbed. She started screaming out for help. It woke her up. So, I mean, I don't know. I still to this day don't know what happened. The kids, though, back to the kids. I don't know if it was like I don't think that was planned. I don't know. I don't think any of it was planned personally. Like, there's some things that make me think it was, or maybe in his head he was wishing he could do that, but not really thinking he ever actually would. You know what I'm saying? Like, how am I going to get out of this marriage? How am I going to get away and not have to deal with this person anymore? And still be able to live my life without her controlling me. Because, the reality is, if they got divorced, she's still like, just like I think of that, like my brother too. Like, if my brother got divorced from his wife, and I'm not saying Shanann's like my brother's wife. I'm just saying, like, with a woman who is a little more controlling, okay, any partner that's more controlling, you're going to be stuck with that person now because you have kids with them for the rest of your life. I think it was everything. It was the baby, the financial troubles that they were having, and all this shit. And I personally think the kids heard them fighting. Okay. And he already knew that he had damaged those kids for life, like by doing what he did in front of them, whatever it was, and then having to see that, I feel like it was almost like they're witnesses kind of thing. I don't know. I can't explain it, the kids. I don't know. I don't know why, how you could even do that. Forget why, how. It's like my biggest fear is anything ever happening to my kid to the point where I'm almost like a helicopter mom, because I I don't want anything happening to him. And I'm just like, I just can't understand the opposite of wanting to hurt your child. Like, I can never fucking wrap my brain around that ever. Shanann was very toxic. I agree with you. And I know it upsets people. They're like, oh my God, you're bashing a dead woman. No, I'm not. I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying it to be real. There was, she had a lot of traits that were not good traits, which we all do. I mean, everybody has bad traits. I'm just saying, those traits played into, you had two extreme personalities mixed together. I know they say opposites attract, but in this case, right, you have a woman who's go outside. You have a woman who's very over kind of controlling and kind of domineering things. And then you have a guy that's like totally passive, who just kind of goes along with anything. And I'm not saying this because that's what I think. I'm saying it because that's how every person in their lives describes the couple, right? I know people like, oh, Chris Watts was a covert narcissist. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. Not everybody that kills has to have a fucking diagnosis. Like, I don't know why people do that. I don't think he was some like budding secret fucking killer. I think it was, who knows what was going on in that moment in time that drove him to this. He could have had some other mental issue going on, or it could have just been stress. I don't know. But I mean, I don't believe he was like secretly abusing her for years. Like, I don't believe any of that, because somewhere along the lines it would have came out. She was the type of person, especially if you read the last week or so of their texts, right, of her text to her friends, I was actually shocked at how much shit she shared with her friends about her marriage. Because, like, I would not do that. If I was having an issue with my husband, I would never do that. Like, I wouldn't go to my friends and be like, oh, he doesn't want to have sex with me. Like, I think that's weird to do that. And she like really shared a lot of personal, intimate shit with her friends. So, if there was something going on prior to that, I feel like she would have shared it with her friends, and especially at that point in time. So I don't know. I don't believe that he was abusing her. At the same time, though, she was one of those people that tried to project an image of like everything's perfect all the time. So who knows? But she had no problem when he started acting strange, letting every single one of her friends know that something was up, and in detail to them. So I mean, it's just crazy. It's like you watch the video, like especially that night when he's pulling out of the driveway, when he's, backing his truck into the driveway, I should say, and the neighbor pulls out. And I'm like, why couldn't that neighbor just pull out 5 minutes later? You know what I'm saying? If she would have seen him carrying Shanann's body out. I mean, just 5 minutes, whatever it is, 10 minutes, whatever it was, and then those kids would have been alive today, possibly. Mm. I watched the security footage again, and I believe that the kids definitely were alive before he went into the car, because there's one specific point where you actually see him get in the truck or open the door. You can't really see what he's doing. Hold on. I might cut out. I'm just running to my car. Well, I'm not going to run because I'll bust my ass on the ice. Okay. Hold on. Ooh, I almost just slipped. All right. So there's one specific point in that security footage from the neighbor's house where you could actually see he goes to the driver's side door, and then he goes back, and you see under the car a shadow moving towards him from like the garage. And then you actually see him bend down and pick something up. Like you could tell he's picking up like a child, the way he bends down. It's really hard to see, but it's obvious that he's bending down and picking up a kid. I mean, if you've ever seen a parent do that, you just know what it looks like, So I do think the kids were alive when they got in that truck, which is just so fucking heartbreaking. That's why I'm saying the neighbor, probably lives with that guilt herself. If I would have just left the house like 10 minutes, later to go to the gym, I could have, saved these little girls. Oh my God, I just don't understand. I just don't understand that part. Oh, thank you, JP. You got him? Yay. Thank you. Appreciate that. Member for 14 months. Yay. So yeah, I don't know. I totally just went off on like a tangent about that, but the video started popping up in my feed, and I've been like so shut off to that story because people are so emotional about it. Once you give your opinion, they just like they can't and it's such an emotional story, but they don't want to hear any opinion other than like he's a psychotic killer monster, which he is, but and that Shanann was an angel. And it's just like that. I'm sorry, that's not reality, and we don't learn anything by thinking like that. We just don't. Everybody has faults. Every relationship has issues. It takes two people to make a relationship. So I mean, she did things wrong, he did things wrong. It's just the way it is. Could you stop with the garbage pail already? Thank you. Freaking garbage monster over here. Yeah, the neighbor was amazing. Amazing person. Anyway, I hope to God never. She was such a beautiful woman, as were her babies. I don't think personally, I know people like, and I don't know why people want to blame her. I think she had something to do. All right. I think that this never would have happened. I'm going to fucking why do I have Laura's face on here? I'm done listening to this clip anyway. Get her the fuck off of here. Bye. All right. I personally think that this probably never would have happened if she wasn't in the picture, but I don't think she physically helped him, or even encouraged it necessarily. And a lot of people do. And I don't know why. I think part of it is because they want to keep the story going in a sense. They want to, they want the details and everything. But I feel like, yeah, she lied in her police interrogation horribly. She deleted the text, definitely makes her look suspicious. but I also could believe her explanation that she was, because I have a friend like that who's just like, once she's done with somebody, she's like cuts them the fuck off and like erases them out of her life completely, like they never existed. I'm not like that, but I know people like that are just like, when they get angry with somebody, they just fucking cut them off. It's like, bye, you're gone, and delete everything. I think it's possible, but I mean, I just think she definitely played a factor in what happened, obviously, but I don't think she like physically was there helping him. I don't at all, I mean, because like people are like, oh, she was stalking Shanann. She didn't like Shanann. Like I saw a video the other day. They're like, look at her hands when she says Shanann's name in the interrogation. And I'm like, all right, dude. Like she makes like almost like a choking. It almost looks like she's choking, but she's not. It's like, I'm like, well, come on, dude. Like you're being dishonest with yourself if you're like, yeah, I love all my husband's exes. Like we're best friends. Like nobody, no girl wants to hear about a girl's another woman that their man's with. Like in her head, as long as it is, that was her man. And of course she's not gonna like his wife. I mean, that's kind of just goes without saying. But I think, yeah, did she lie about Shanann knowing Shanann was pregnant? Absolutely, she did. There's no way she couldn't have known. But I think it was more out of shame, of like, look, the girl had her shit together. She had her own apartment. She was financially responsible. She had a car. She had a pretty good job, so she made a mistake dating a married guy, but it's like you have to admit that to people. Like that's kind of embarrassing, to admit that you made such somebody who has their shit together very obviously makes a fucking mistake like that. Like you look like an asshole. A pregnant wife, nevertheless, like, who knows? Yeah, Patricia, she always was putting him down. The cringiest one of all the videos, I'm sorry, was the one where he dressed up as Santa and like the whole dude, I think that video out of every video she put on there, that one tells you the most about the dynamics of the household and the relationship. They go in the Santa, he comes up to the front door, and as soon as he opens the door, he's not doing things right in her book. She's like, oh, you forgot your phone. Like everything he did was wrong. Everything the kids did was wrong. Like they just really showed the dynamics of the house. It was like she just wanted to put on the show that, oh, Santa's here. The kids were terrified. They're screaming. They don't want to sit on it. The lap. It was just the whole thing was like it was horrible. It was so cringy. But she's calling him stupid. He forgot his phone. Like you could just see that he can't do anything right, like by her. Oh, you left his phone in there in the garage. Like, it's like, dude, the guy's already dressed up as Santa. And she's like, she tells him right away, sit down. And he sits down like right away, and it's like, just sit down and stay there. And it's almost like you could kind of see that he's almost afraid to break character, even though the kids are fucking horrified by what's going on, he's like afraid to break character because she's going to get mad at him. Like you can see it. I'm sorry. If you don't see it, I don't know what to say. But it's cringy as hell. I will say that. I don't blame her for dating a married guy, but something is off with her. Oh, something's definitely off with her. Do I think she was a better choice? No, I think she was just a different choice for him. And he realized that there was a possibility. Because let's face it, I don't know. Me personally, I don't find him attractive, the guy. Like, he's kind of nerdy looking to me, weird looking. But like, I think that, he was probably like, oh, another woman finds me attractive. Like, because some guys are like that, especially guys that don't have that much experience dating. Because I'm pretty sure before Shanann, he didn't like have other girlfriends. I think he might have had like one girlfriend. So, for him to be like, oh, this, pretty girl, which I don't think Nicole was that pretty. I think she's just like average looking person, is into me and she's cool and she's into the things that I'm into, or at least she's pretending to be, and I'm sure she was sitting there telling him, putting his wife down, basically. I'm sure she was doing that, I mean, look, people get involved with married people all the time, and I'm not saying it's right, but it doesn't, mean that she wanted children to die. I don't, to be honest with you, I think he was much more in love with her than she was with him, or at least that's how she made it seem in her interrogation. I mean, she was looking at wedding dresses, but like in all reality, we don't know why that is. She could have been looking with a friend, like we don't know. Or she could have just been looking at wedding dresses because people look at wedding dresses like I used to when I didn't even have a boyfriend. I just was like, I liked looking at wedding dresses, you know? Like my friend was getting married, so I would look at wedding dresses like online. Like, does that mean I was, killing somebody? Like, no, I just, I don't know. You know, hindsight's 2020. Yeah, she was different. That's all he needed to cheat. I think he just needed to know that it was a possibility because he probably has a codependent type of personality, in normal life, and he needs to be with somebody, and I think he needed to know that it was a possibility that he could be with somebody else. And it really didn't matter who came along, it just worked out that it was her. And to be honest, I kind of in a sense feel bad for the girl because like let's just say she didn't have anything to do with anything, which I personally don't think she did, you know. Look, there's definitely things that make her look like she was part of it. I agree 100%. But let's just say she didn't have anything to do with it. Think about how her life was turned completely upside down by making this mistake of being with a married man, like nobody, that's bad enough in and of itself. But now it's like you're not only with a married man, now you were with a married man who killed his wife, and not just his wife, his kids. Like that's gonna be, she can never live a normal life again after that, from one mistake that she made in her life. Like, I'm sorry, you gotta kind of have a little sympathy for the girl. But there's a lot of people out there that are like convinced. They're like, oh my God, her phone pinged there. I never actually saw evidence of that. I've heard people saying it, but I've never seen the evidence of her phone pinging near their house. I've never actually seen the evidence of that. If it happened, there could be several reasons for why that happened. It depends on first of all, the towers. I mean, all these people are like, her phone pinged near his house and she doesn't drive that way. But like, do you know the pinging system in Colorado? Like, because I don't know how many towers there are and, where your call gets directed. I find it odd she didn't shed a tear during that investigation. Well, in all fairness, you really can't see if she cried or not because the camera was so far away. The only time I saw her get really super emotional was when she was talking about the kids, and it seemed like she was crying. I don't know if she actually was, but I'm not going to judge her on that just for the sheer fact that, like, shock is a real thing. I think people go into shock and they can't, like, you almost become like unable to cry when you're like that upset, She might have just been in shock. I mean, I don't know. Everybody's always like, oh, they didn't cry, they must not be upset. It's like, dude, I could talk about things that upset me and traumatic things that happened to me without crying. I might get choked up a little, but I can fight it, So I mean, a lot of people can. Triangular romantic relationships are good for none involved. No, just break up. You know what? The one weird thing I did notice yesterday when I was watching the body cam footage, and I thought this was interesting because I never noticed it before. I don't know if I ever really watched the body camera footage like all the way through. I fell asleep last night, so I want to go back and watch the rest of it tonight probably before I go to bed. But he's in the house, Nicole's in the house, and he said multiple times while the friend Nicole was in earshot of him that him and Shanann were separated. And like, she didn't argue that. She didn't say like, what? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, she had no reaction to it. So I'm like, well, that's odd because, I know he was telling Nicole, the girlfriend Nicole, that he was separated from her, but it seems like he was telling other people as well. And I don't know if this was after this all happened or what, but I'm like, she never like argued it. You know what I'm saying? She never like sounded surprised or said anything that they were separated. So were they actually separated, or were they, I don't know, still together? Because if you think about it, didn't she call off, like they were supposed to do a gender reveal with the baby and she called that off or something? So like, and he was sleeping in the basement. And then I noticed also that during Nicole Kessinger's interrogation, she said that prior to, the whole trip, the North Carolina trip, that when, it seemed to her like they were separated because it was like there was no restrictions on her talking to him. It was like she could basically call him anytime she wanted to, and he would be home and talking to her. So, and that he was sleeping in the basement. I mean, even the cops asked him, like, who's sleeping in the basement? Because there was a bed down there. So, I don't know. I don't think they were. Shanann seemed blindsided. But see, Sarah, I think to myself, was she actually blindsided by it? Or was she just playing it up for her friends? Because, I'm sorry, but, she seemed to be the type of person who did a lot of things for attention. So, was that just a way to garner attention from her friends, and sympathy? Like, I mean, if he was sleeping in the basement, that's not normal, I mean, something was going on. And I think that she's not the type of person to, you know, let down that front that everything's perfect. She did give him the books. But again, that could have been an attempt to look, she had a lot to lose in the marriage, right? Not just him, okay? She had a lot to lose. First of all, she had already been married and divorced once now. So now this would be her second divorce. She also told the friends that she couldn't survive on her own in Colorado. There was no way. It just wasn't possible. So financially, she wouldn't have been able to make it. She's pregnant. So, I mean, she, it's like, did they need to have a third child, or was that third child happening because she felt him pulling away from the relationship at some point? You got to kind of dig back into that. Was she trying to fix things for the right reasons? But the fact that she bought him the book kind of goes to show that there was signs that there was something going on, prior to all of this. And she had felt some type of way. It's it's hard to say. It's hard to say. And then, maybe I don't know if it was so much that she was just so in love with him as much as it was she loved that he loved her. You know what I'm saying? She loved that he loved her. And really, it's not very easy to find a man who will let you control things like that. You know what I'm saying? Where the partnership is so unbalanced like that. A man who's going to put up with, a woman controlling all the finances and making all the decisions for the family and what they do, where they live, all those types of decisions. She made them. So when are you going to find that? Not many men are going to be like that, as passive. No, they definitely didn't need a third child. They were in debt up to their eyeballs and had already claimed bankruptcy once, and here they are. I mean, they couldn't even. I'm looking at that house and I'm like, dude, that house had to be. First of all, it was a very cold house, and I think it was just because they didn't have the money to furnish it properly. When they go into the neighbor's house, the guy Nate, his house is furnished. Like there's more stuff. Like her house was very, very plain and weird. I mean, look, I don't care for her decorating taste, but that's neither here nor there. But the house was not like furnished the way it should be for that type of house. The things that they did have looked expensive, but the house was not furnished the way it should have been. So for that big of a house, it's like, dude, how would you even afford that house? I mean, that house was huge. Just think about heating bill in that house. That front entryway when you first walk in with the vaulted ceilings, like that's a large room to heat in Colorado. So their heating bill alone must have been crazy. The one thing I don't like about that house was the backyard. I never noticed it until I was watching the videos recently. I'm like, that is fucking weird. Like their backyard was facing that like new development of townhouses. And so like everybody that was driving down that street could see right into their house. I would hate that. And right into their yard too. And I don't know if it was like part of their homeowners thing, but they only had like a split rail fence or like picket fence, like a short one. And I'm like, dude, I would not like that. I would want like a 6-foot fence around my property because I mean, those people could literally see nobody was living there at the time, but I'm just saying, like now, I'm sure there's people living there. I would not like that. Like there's like a street literally right leading up to their backyard and then houses there. And I'm like, they're so close. Like people could see right into your backyard, right into your house. I wouldn't like that personally. But Shannon was so controlling. Chris knew it was going to be impossible for him to leave her. Well, that's what I think, Patricia. But people don't like to say that because they're like, she's just. I hate when people make this excuse. She was just a strong woman. She was Italian. The fuck out of here, dude. Most Italian women are actually very passive. So that I don't know. I don't know many like Italian women that are like that, personally, not in my family, that's for sure. There's maybe one, but most of them are not like that. They're not controlling. And I don't even think that's fair to say about any fucking nationality, oh, she's Puerto Rican, it's like, what? Like, no, you know? But yeah, I mean, look, it's called a spade a spade. I mean, she was definitely controlling. Sorry. Her friends even said it. Her own parents said it. Her dad said it. You know, she wore the pants in the relationship. I mean, if the tables were turned and it was him who was like that, people would be crucifying him. It's because it's a woman. People make excuses. They're like, oh, she's just a strong woman. She knows what she wants. And it's like, nah, dude. She had some controlling tendencies, dominating tendencies that were not healthy, So the part that bothers me the most about her is the way she used those kids to try to sell that bullshit product that she was selling. Like, and then like misleading people to think that her lupus was cured by Thrive patches. Come on, man. Like, come on. And then you see a million pictures of her out in the sun on the beach with like, bro, most people that have lupus, they can't go in the sun at all. Otherwise they break out in like a full body rash or they flare up. I don't know what type of lupus she had because there's different types. There's like systemic lupus and there's all different types. So in all fairness, I don't know what type she had, but I was always under the impression that no matter what type you had, you really couldn't go out in the sun. And there's like a million pictures of her out in the sun with a tan. That baby shit brown was a bad choice. What? The house, the outside? Any supplement helps, but there's no cure for it. Yeah. I mean, look, I don't know what she had, but I in all fairness, but there was definitely things with the children. Like somebody had pointed out in a video that I watched recently, Cece was supposedly, so allergic to these nuts that were in, the tree nuts or whatever. And then if you look at the package on one of the Thrive bars, it says right in there that there's tree nuts on it. The one of the Thrive bars that she gave her in a video. So it's like, I don't know, like Nutgate, that was another thing I forgot. That's a whole nother thing that played into the murders at the end. I personally think was the fight with his parents when she went to North Carolina. I definitely think that played a huge role. I mean, before she went there, she called everybody in the family and made them go through their houses and make sure that there was nothing with like nuts in it in their houses and their snack cabinets. And you know what? I'm sorry, but I can't agree with Chris's mom. I know the kid is only 3 years old, so but I can't disagree that she was like, well, she needs to learn that she can't have everything because, if you're a kid who has allergies like that, then yes, you do need to start learning at some point that you can't have every type of food, especially if it could kill you. But like the mom didn't even give the ice cream to her. She gave it to the other kid and she bugged out and caused this whole huge fight with his family. And I definitely think that played a role in things in the end too. Absolutely. My friend and son's tutor put her lupus in remission with a very strict diet. She still has it, but it's in remission. So maybe it was possible, I don't know. I don't know all that much about lupus. So whatever happened to those Thrive people, I unfriended like 2 people for a year. Oh, I got some friends that that are in like a very similar MLM, and it's like, dude, the posts are just constant. Like when I go on Facebook, it's just nonstop, nonstop. That case completely turned me off to MLMs. Like I already was. I won't support them, but that case like solidified that I will never spend another dollar on an MLM product ever. Because usually the products are overpriced garbage. But I mean, she was really deep in it. She was deep, deep, deep in the MLM life. I mean, that wasn't the only MLM she did. She did LuLaRoe. She did some makeup brand that was part of Amway. I mean, she was in a lot of them. So Thrive was just one of many. I wanted to have remission during both pregnancies. Doesn't happen for everyone, though, but the best I've ever felt in my life was when I was pregnant. Interesting. I felt like $1,000,000 during my pregnancies, my migraines went away. That's funny, Shannon. Not funny, but I had migraines as a kid, bad, and I was so terrified because I hear that, I heard prior to getting pregnant that a lot of women who never had migraines would get migraines during pregnancy. And I was like terrified to get migraines again. I was like, dude, like if that happens again, I don't know what I'm gonna do, especially during pregnancy because you really can't take anything. Like you're not really supposed to take medication. So I was like terrified that I was gonna start getting migraines again, but thank God I didn't. I have to wear a cap in the winter to stop the sun on my face. I have scarring on my face. And I've lost half of my hair and had operations on my bladder and kidneys. Lupus is a nightmare. Jeez. See, that's what I was just under the impression I know lupus because when my mom did her dialysis, a lot of the people in there either had lupus or like a lot of the other people that were on dialysis either had lupus or diabetes. That was like the two biggest things that affected your kidneys, that people would end up on dialysis from. And then high blood pressure, of course, if you leave it untreated. But lupus and that my mom, every time I remember her coming home and I was talking to this woman, she had lupus, or they had diabetes. But it was like a lot of people with lupus that were on dialysis. And it's very common. So that's what I'm saying. I'm very shocked that when her autopsy report came out, there was no damage to her lungs, like there was no damage to the parts of the body that typically lupus would damage. And I just found that odd because, and I don't know, again, I don't know if that would show up. I know other people have said it. I don't know if that would necessarily show up in an autopsy or be acknowledged, but I just found it weird because I'm like, I know that people with lupus definitely have kidney damage and then damage to their lungs. And it's their skin too. There's a lot of skin problems. They get that butterfly rash on their faces. And then what else? The butterfly rash and other types of rashes. I got tested for lupus. My doctor wanted me to because I had this weird, I don't even want to call it a rash, just this on my neck. I have like this area of skin where it's just all red, like broken blood vessels. I hate it. And my doctor wanted me to get tested for it. Discoid on the hands. Like what? Scarring? Maxalt for migraines, y'all. Well, when I was a kid, they didn't really have any migraine specific medication that I could take. So Tylenol it was. I remember when I got like older, my doctor gave me something for migraines. It might have been Imitrex. I'm not even sure what it was, but I was like, oh my God, like where was this all my life? Because they're like migraine headaches are not fun. Not fun. I mean, they're the worst. They're the worst. Anywho, all right, it's 2:46. I got to get off here because I do have to run to the post office and I got other things to do. But I just wanted to pop on, say hi to you guys, and that's about it. That's about it. But I gotta run. I gotta actually get dressed because I have to go somewhere. But I will. I'll be back. What's today? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. One of those days. One of those days. But I will definitely see you guys around. Pugs, I'll text you back when I get off of here. All right. I'll talk to you lovely people later. Have a good one.